Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Most engineers don't fail because they lack technical skill. They fail because they never learn how to lead, communicate, and take ownership. This is the Impactful Engineer. We give you the blueprint for career excellence, not textbook answers. I'm Steve Maxey, a senior manager in product development, and I'm here with my brother Jake, owner and principal engineer at NLS Engineering. If you're done with the status quo and ready to take control of your career, then you're listening to the right show. Hello, Jacob.
Nice. Hello. All right. I'm always so excited to do the show. Maybe that's a good thing. A little bit of housekeeping here. We have 3 episode types. The first one is Steve and I get on here and do exactly what we're going to do. We're going to share some wisdom that we have gained over the years and things that we're seeing happening in real life right now for both of us, and share you the pros and cons, and hopefully you can take something good from it. The second episode is we do kind of that same thing, but it's just one of us on here, just solo, just 1v1. To give some more of what we've seen happening in our lives, and in our professions that might help you. And then we do a third format of that same thing. It's just with a guest. So we get on here and there's 3 of us and we go around and we share our experiences. And the guest typically has something that they specialize in that can be highly impactful that you can take away. So that is the show.
Yeah. And we had a great guest episode recently with our first return guest, Mr. Salvatore. Yeah.
Those are always, I have a really good time on those. He has this ability to bring out some good stuff out of us too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
and it's nice.
I feel like I'm being
it's great because usually the guests that we bring on, while we may share some perspective, they always bring something that we just don't have, and it's immense value for everyone listening. So that's why I really love the guest episodes. But it's just us 2 today, and
it's not really I said interview, but it's not interview.
No, it's good.
We don't interview.
We're a conversation.
People. We just have conversations. Yeah. You listen to the other podcasts that are interview based.
Yeah.
We are not that.
Yeah, I was listening to one, and I think interview ones have a good place, right? But I was listening to this one this morning, and you can really tell that they just have this list of questions, and as soon as the person answers the one question, they just go right to the next. There's no spark of conversation derived from the answer, and I don't know why that. It's always kind of irked me, or I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean? Like you're just
yeah, it's not your preference.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. All right. So today, something that I think is really important for all engineers, doesn't matter what phase of your career you're in, but would be even more important for the new career engineers to learn right out of the gate, is not just the technical expertise. It's going to be relationships, how to build them, how to maintain them, why they are important, and who do you need to cultivate relationships with. So kind of high level, what I'd like to talk about today, but I think we have some ideas of exactly how we want to approach it, but we might end up in a different spot. So I think this would be a good conversation.
Sweet. Hit it with us.
Yeah. All right. So why are relationships important? For me, it's on a human level, right? I think you're going to be able to accomplish a lot more when you have a strong relationship with whoever you're working with. You're not going to be at odds at all times. You're going to find a common goal, and you're going to be able to leverage each other's strengths, and complement each other's weaknesses to be able to achieve that goal. And you're not going to be able to do that without being able to build a relationship of some sort. Did you have something to say?
Well, it's not something you can do it on purpose, which, yes, there is a very tactical way to do it. But I think for the engineer starting out, it's just going to be something that you want to create the environment to which the relationships can be built. You don't have to go in with this purposeful thing. I just want to like throw that out real fast.
Yeah.
Like, don't think of it as like a playbook that you need to learn and then get good at it. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to deploy this playbook. Just like
Be mindful.
create the environment for yourself. So put yourself in a lot of rooms with a lot of people, put yourself in meetings, attend the meetings, be insightful during the meetings, butt in with your opinion during the meetings, start paying attention to who responds in what way to your questions, all these things. Just put yourself in the environment as much as possible. But keep going.
Yeah. I mean, being mindful of the concept of it, right? You don't have to intentionally be like, oh, I need to go out and build a relationship today. So
yeah. Don't think of it that way now.
So I'll start out with kind of what sparked the idea for this topic today. Oftentimes you will see people who have an objective and they're working with another team, whether it's internal or external, and they come into that relationship like a bull in a china shop. They have demands, they have extreme expectations, but don't quite communicate it correctly. And they get real amped up when those expectations aren't met. And they are just really harsh on people. They're going in and like, why didn't you get this done? And, this needs to be done today. This is totally screwed up. Are you an idiot? And all that kind of stuff, right? Like it can be brutal, off-putting, whatever kind of word you want to use. And what I've seen is you might get an immediate reaction out of, like, say if you're the person being this bull in china shop, you might get an immediate reaction, be like, oh yeah, we'll take care of it, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you leave the room, they're like, God, that guy's an asshole. And, screw that guy. I need to do this other thing for this other person who is way cooler. And I'm going to deprioritize that because, screw that guy.
Yep. This is a good angle, Steve. This is a good way. This is a good example of where this applies.
Yes.
I like this. Keep going.
And in those same scenarios, you will have to have someone who does cleanup duty. Someone who has to go in after that bowl leaves the china shop and starts putting the plates back up on the shelves and has to repair the relationship for the organization or the team or whatever. And that is extremely frustrating. And you are basically putting in an immense amount of effort to get back to net zero. And then after that, you can hopefully go back into net positive and start building a collaborative relationship. And so what I encourage people to do is hold high expectations, but communicate the wins. Like, hey, you guys have been communicating really well. Thanks for putting a ton of effort last night on this objective. But we need to get this done at this date. What do you need from us to accomplish that? Do you need additional resources? Do you need to be put in contact with someone else that can help you, et cetera, right? It's more of a collaborative ask, but you're still holding the expectation, right? Yeah, this needs to be done by this date, but you're not like going, you're an idiot. You guys can't do it, blah, blah, blah. You're not just, berating them, but you're still holding the expectation, but you're collaborating. You are giving them a, positive energy so that they will want to do the work for you.
Yeah. This is something that I had to learn for a very long time. Well, I didn't learn it. I had to be exposed to it for a very long time before I actually learned this piece and then changed my behavior to actually improve. And it doesn't have to be blatant, you're an idiot or you're an asshole or you screwed this up or, why are you so bad at this? That's extreme. And there's different versions of that you'll get in your career. But it can be just as easily said, I wouldn't have done it that way. Why did you do it this way? Tone, intention behind the message. We need to change directions right now. None of this is worth anything. Scrap it. All those kinds of things do have the same effect. And I used to I wasn't that way directly. I was just like, we're going to do this. And it wouldn't acknowledge what had been done or wouldn't take points of view or like try to craft the message. It was just like, I know what needs to be done. We're going to do it this way. And then at the same time, when I didn't know what needed to be done, that would happen to me. And I knew, well, looking back at it now, it creates a lot of friction and just unneeded momentum killing energy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I pinpointed for myself was that my identity, it was and still is rooted in being competent. And most engineers are like that, or most engineers have that identity. They're competent. They are logical. They work through things in step by step, and they have reasons for each step that they take. And so when someone comes in and steps on that and changes direction, they take it as if their identity of being competent is being attacked. And that's what just for me, that's what I learned. That's not going to be the same for everyone, but there's something in your identity that you hold true for yourself that is being attacked, when that creates this energy that keeps everyone from just moving forward and accomplishing the mission. The baseline in what would be fantastic for an efficiency standpoint is if everyone understood everyone at all times in all contexts and agreed, right?
Yeah.
And you just went and you changed. Yep, got to change. You're right. Yep. Oh no, we got to change this time. Yep, you're right. Great. And you just go in full speed, and then all of a sudden you're done. And nobody cares about what happened between A and B, how many changes, turns, twists, flip it upside down, throw the table across the room, papers everywhere. Doesn't matter.
Sounds like robots.
All the plates are broken, right? That's the baseline. That's not true,
Mm-hmm.
and it never will be true, because we're human beings. So then what's the opposite? The opposite is what you're talking about. Everybody blames each other, and everybody's pissed off, and you still relatively probably get the thing done, right? But there's somewhere in the middle that is optimal. We're going to get maximum transfer of energy here and try to maximize the efficiency at the same time. And that's a give and take, right? Yeah. So like for me, it was part of my identity getting stepped on. So think about that. And if you're stepping on someone else's identity, that's having that sort of impact.
Yeah, I think if you are able to communicate, aligned intent on the goal to who you're working with, then everyone gets on the same page, and then it's easy to have those more logical pivots and approaches to the objective, right? If you don't have alignment in your goals, then you're always at odds with each other, and so communicate that ahead of time, right? Be like, hey, I know you guys want to get this done so you can work on other things. I need to get it done because I need to have it ready for this project over here. How can we get there most efficiently, right? Invite that collaboration. And that actually reminds me of something else that I read in Never Split the Difference, right, by Chris Voss, is using words like how to start your sentence and not why, right? Because when you ask people why, it solicits a negative response or exactly response. Yeah. The walls go up, right? But if you're asking a what, like what does it, what do we need to focus on, or a how question, like how can we get there? That invites them to add their input, and then they have more ownership of the subject matter. And so it's a lot. It diffuses any of the tension, and puts them more in a logical, collaborative mindset rather than an emotional, defensive mindset.
Yep. And anything you can do to keep people from having to justify, defend, get something off their chest, toil with it internally, everything you can do to avoid as much of that as possible helps this entire situation. Yeah. And the words matter.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, words and tone.
And if you're on video, your face matters.
Oh, yeah.
And the tone. I was on a call recently where I could see this in action. People that have been working together for a long time, and someone will say something and I'll go, that could be interpreted, a little funky. And I look at the person and yep, it was. Eye roll, tilt of the head, looking away to the side, a little sigh here.
Yeah.
It's all these little things that matter a whole lot when you're trying to get stuff done as a team. And when people are not as close to your sphere of influence, it's like the further they go out, the more you got to know this stuff, use the right words in the right order, because it's just going to get out of control.
Yeah.
Yep. Then the more time you got to spend building context with people that are outside your sphere because they just don't know.
I have a great example of this. So you and I were just talking about this morning. When you have someone who is so close to your sphere of influence, all this basically goes out the window for the most part. You and I can talk to each other with straight curse words, intensity. It does not matter, right? We know exactly what our intent is, and we have fun with it, and we're just like, and it's great. But just a little bit further out in the sphere of influence, and we have to start checking ourselves. Like, that's even right. With other family members, we would have to check ourselves beyond that, right? Because the further you go out, the more you have to be conscious of how you communicate, because other people will not be able to receive that communication as you intend if you're not fully aligned.
Hey, my fellow impactful engineers, if there's one thing that you could do to help out this community, is to keep listening to the podcast, but also that if you found value in it, to share it with one person, give us a 5-star review, or even leave a text review. It'll only take a few seconds of your time. Find that person that you think could enjoy some of this or learn from it, and pass on the good word. Now back to the show. That's right. Yep. I wouldn't, if it mattered enough, and I couldn't switch and context switch between the two, like just effortlessly, then I would think about cleaning up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career, is I was just like, didn't operate as differently enough in different situations and contexts that I could have, not that I should have, that I could have, to improve my optics. And to improve my ability to be handed the keys, and improve my likelihood that I would be selected to have more responsibility and move up. I've identified it as one of the key determining factors in not having as much upward mobility as I could have.
Yeah.
Did I care? No. Was it on my radar? No. Was I just being authentically myself? Yeah. Did I think that was the right way to be? Yeah. And then I got out of my bubble and, went into some coaching and like started talking to groups and like really trying to figure out this system and how do I clear all this noise out of my way and just get moved up. I just wanted to move up. I want to move up. I want to have more responsibility. I want to make more money. How do I do it? And I just threw my hands up and I said, you know what? As much as I think I know what I'm doing 5 or 6 years ago, as much as I've learned and I was good and whatever, you're great. You're in the position you are. What am I not seeing and that I should clear out of my way? And like, there was a lot of things, but like, looking back, that was one of the biggest ones, was just perception of reality.
Yeah.
Moving from my perception into other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Was the biggest hole in my game.
Yeah. In antithesis to what most engineers think, perception can be more important than reality in a lot of cases.
It can be more important than your reality.
There you go. Yeah.
Because reality is what it is. And reality changes depending on who the person is observing. It's just like when you look at, physics was a long time ago. Okay. So I'm going to fucking butcher this, but I'm going to use the analogy anyway.
The train.
You're looking at certain atomic particles from sitting, and you're still, you see it in one way. And then if you are moving, all of a sudden it's acting differently.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a whole observation experiment, the double split experiment, or double slit, whatever the fuck. And you had different colors, or it was all combined, or it was dispersed. And it depended on the observation window.
Yeah. Isn't that,
and if it was moving or not. It's like, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
The way you see it is not the way somebody else sees it. And you're looking at the same damn thing. So you have to figure that out.
Isn't that Einstein's theory of relativity?
Relativity has a
Yeah.
lot to do with it, but the double slit, I think, has to do with light and
Yeah.
dispersion of different colors. Is it a wave or is it a particle? You know, what is it? A dot or is it moving? You
we
know,
swear
whatever.
we used to be smart.
Photons and such. Yeah. Dude, the type of engineer I am, I don't think about that shit
Oh, I
on a
know.
daily basis at all. That's stretching my brain.
That was a long time ago.
But anyway, the analogy holds. It's
Yeah.
like it depends on the observer, man. So, and I'm sure there's some smart fucking engineers out there
You
that
guys
are
are
like, yeah,
idiots.
you guys got that completely wrong, and this is what it is. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
But we were talking about relationships,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I was gonna.
So all of this
I
comes
was
into
going
play.
to tie this into another conversation we had earlier this week, and that's the whole concept of office politics, and we're essentially talking about an element of that, right? Maintaining perceptions.
I hate that.
I know you do.
I hate it, but it's part of the game.
Maintaining perceptions. Changing your behavior depending on who is observing. And that doesn't mean change who you are. I want to make that clear because I've gotten that response before. I'm not going to change who I am, right? It's like that's not what we're asking.
I know. That's where the confusion comes into play.
Absolutely.
Confusing two principles there.
Yeah. It could come simply down to the tone of your voice and the words that you choose to communicate the exact same thing.
That's right.
That's it. So,
I used to be that person that was, well, I'm not going to change who I am. It's like, okay, then don't expect to get the things that you want because you have to look at it differently and play a different game to get the things that you want. Mm-hmm. So
and
don't change who you are, quote unquote.
Yeah, and we're not asking.
And keep getting the things.
Yeah, we're not asking you to go against your values, right?
No.
Yeah, anchor your values, of course. Always do that. But how you communicate can be tailored for the best outcome of the scenario that you're in. That's all. So
exactly.
Yeah. Let's circle back to relationships in general, because I think.
And by the way, we will.
Yeah.
I have a tendency towards harsh delivery and the statement of facts in a way that people get riled up, which is what I just did.
Yeah.
But guess what? Some people out there have the same perception of reality or close to that I do. And in fact, it's been kind of, in my experience, a lot of people have that like perspective. So I like to hit that. If I could say it in a different way, but you already just said it in a different way. And that's what the beauty of having both of us on here. And we are just two people with two perspectives of the same reality. But you're very much, we're opposite there. So take the one that works. Like, Jake's an asshole. I'm not going to listen to him, but Steve had a great point. And I think I'm going to go with what Steve said. That is the point of the show. And that is what we're trying to do. I just want to make that like clear.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't possibly cover all of the different deliverability methods in the same show without losing you. And I'm probably losing.
No, you're not wrong at all. But yeah, back to the importance of relationships. Relationships at work, in the same teams that you're on, are also critically important because when you never know who you're going to meet. You can find lifelong friends. I know I have. One of my best friends is someone I met at work a few jobs ago, right? And we still hang out all the time. So there's always that personal aspect of it. But when you are at work, you will find people that share similar mindsets or even have a better mindset than you. Like they're more growth oriented. They are very successful, et cetera, et cetera. And so building relationships with those people, you can surround yourself with those key individuals, and it will naturally pull you upward in your own development. And they will learn from you as well, right? It's like a symbiotic relationship. So building relationships in a high performance team, everyone will start improving in different ways. And that is something to also consider of why relationships are important, right? If you're holed up in a cubicle by yourself and you're just, just going to town on your keyboard and your mouse clicks and all that crap, are you really going to develop as a high performance engineer, or are you just kind of plateau and you just do your work and you leave? Which I guess for some people that might be all that they want, and then they get all of their stimulation outside of work, that's okay. But there's also this massive opportunity in this organization that you're working in, that you're going to be around a lot of other people who have a lot of ambition, a lot of skills that they already have accumulated, and you can leverage that for your own development, and then also share what you've learned, and then they can, leverage your skill sets. And so I think that's a key benefit for being mindful of creating great lasting relationships.
Yeah. And it never happens. It doesn't happen without them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well do it. The point I guess I want to really make about that is you don't know who they're going to talk to and in what message, they're going to bring to someone else that you've never even met. And the stronger your relationship is with them and the more context they have and the tighter you are, the better the message will be on your behalf when they do have that conversation.
Yeah.
So tightening that up is great. You also never know who is going to be in a position to give you that one review or comment or discussion that we've talked about many times and having the behind the scenes discussions. You never know who's going to go to bat for you and at what time and what piece of context mattered to the other person that can then run with it.
Yeah.
That will influence whatever path.
And it could even be a project that you want to work on, and then all of a sudden it lands in your lap because someone else advocated for you.
So there's this just huge web. Case in point, I met somebody last year when I first started my business. I was out running around, just talking to my friends, building relationships, going to networking events that they put on here in the greater Boston area and in Providence, Rhode Island. And just meeting as many people as I can, being clear about who I am and communicating the business and asking them what they do. And boom, a need continues to be satisfied to meet mechanical engineering partners that have the same mindset and operating strategy as NLS. And we get to partner and just do great work for developers, for architects. And I met somebody a year ago that was part of an architecture firm that then moved to the construction world and was talking to a mechanical only engineer and was like, "Oh yeah, you need electricals?" Man, it was like a year ago, but I met somebody. Was it Jason? Was it I can't really remember. So they hit up one of the operators of those networking events and said, "Hey, I met somebody at your event last year. I forget who it was. It's an electrical guy, just started his firm. It's like Jason or something." And then it was like, "Oh yeah, it's Jake Maxey. Yeah, he comes to my stuff all the time. Cool, I'll connect you to." So now I've got another mechanical engineering firm on my bench that can partner with me. I can partner with them, and we can go after some more work. And you just never know, man.
Yeah.
So go out and build those relationships. Know. It can't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I would say don't build relationships if you find an activity for which the trade-off makes you more mobile towards your goal than building relationships. Then yeah, sure, replace it. But I think the whole point is just that you will become more impactful and have more opportunities and be able to take charge of or like cash in on those opportunities quickly.
Yeah.
Because you see them all the time. You got to get good at seeing them, but then you also got to have like the goodwill to cash in on them.
Yeah.
Right. And building relationships. That's the point. There you go. Summarize the last 5 minutes. Capitalizing on opportunities takes goodwill. Having goodwill takes building relationships.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And always be in the mindset of giving more than you receive. And then when you need it most,
part of building that.
When you need it most, you will receive everything that you need. So
that's right.
Well, I think that's enough for you guys to go on. Relationships are one of the most important things for you to build as an engineer. Doesn't matter what stage of your career you're at. The best time was right when you started. The next best time is right now. So go out, build relationships, and make your biggest impact to our community.